Nobody knows the future. Nobody knows how Florida State would have done against Michigan. I'll tell you, they wouldn't have done good because the last 2 weeks will tell you everything you need to know how they are as a team without Jordan Travis. And their performances in the last 2 weeks, probably the primary reason they're not included in the top 4. They did that to themselves. The injury, it's an accident. It's a freak thing. I understand they didn't do that to themselves. But whoever the backup quarterback was, the recruiting that they did as a team, their head coach didn't recruit enough talent on the second level of their depth chart. He didn't do it right because the quarterback that came in to replace Jordan Travis, Rademacher, then he gets hurt, third string, all that stuff, man. It's hard to account for. You never plan on your starting quarterback getting hurt. But I distinctly remember a couple of years ago, Alabama's starting quarterback got hurt in their conference championship game, and they pulled a guy off the bench who came in, got the job done, and scored 14 points on a Georgia team in like one quarter. That shows the committee depth, talent, a roster that can hang and participate with anybody at position number 1, 2, maybe even 3 in some cases. With Florida State, it was like a cold cup of hot coffee. Or it was like it's a good way to put this. It's like a cold cup of hot cocoa with the marshmallows on top. That's Florida State. First string guys, top level, super nice, looks great, high performance. They lose their quarterback and you dip through that first layer and it's ice cold. They don't perform. And they did it to themselves just as much as the committee did it to them. Florida State's performances in the last 2 weeks did it to themselves. It's a simple answer. Put each team side by side. How do they perform? What do the metrics say? Alabama, Florida State. And then run those two teams through the computer system or the calculations that they do to come up with these gambling lines or these point spreads. Alabama and Florida State, it would spit out Alabama favored by 12. Sorry, it's exactly what it would be. Anybody who disagrees, you don't know anything. But Florida State deserves it. That doesn't mean anything. Deserving something, a lot of people deserve a great life. They don't get it. No one deserves anybody. Nobody is entitled to anything. You don't go undefeated in a Power 5 conference and you're just entitled to a playoff appearance. You don't just walk in as a Power 5 champion undefeated. We're entitled to that spot. We deserve it. That is entirely incorrect. And this notion they deserved it and they got robbed has to stop. It has to stop. Florida State did not deserve it. Clearly, because their performances in the conference championship, as soon as they lost Jordan Travis, some of the other games early in the year, combined with the fact that the ACC is hot garbage in 2023, mix that all together. What do you get? Football Power Index ranking that's lower than Alabama's, even with Jordan Travis. And people forget Florida State was number 5 2 weeks ago. The only reason they got put back in the top 4 is because Ohio State lost to Michigan. Ohio State's better than Florida State. Georgia's better than Florida State. Alabama's better than Florida State. Texas is better than Florida State. Michigan's better than Florida State. Washington and Oregon, probably better than Florida State, but they deserve it. I'm so tired of it. I don't want to hear it anymore. The games we're going to get now with Alabama and Michigan and Texas, Washington, oh my God, they're going to be so much better. The games are going to be more competitive because these are the best 4 teams in the country. I'd even make it, I'll take this one step further. I'll take this whole college football playoff thing and this whole controversy one step further. You want the top 4 best teams in the country? If it's up to me, a nobody who knows nothing, right? I look at the football power indexes, I look at the strength of schedule, and I also use the eye test, which is something that the committee seriously considers to a degree. Use all the analytics that you want before this week and after this week. My top 4 would be Georgia, Alabama, Michigan, and Texas. Sorry. If they truly, really did the top 4 best teams, that's actually who it would be. Washington wouldn't be in. Oregon wouldn't be in. Florida State definitely wouldn't be in. Ohio State wouldn't be in. The top 4 best teams in the country, based on any analytical piece of information you can get your fingers on, has Georgia, Bama, Michigan, and Texas as the top 4. In no particular order, but those are the top 4. Florida State didn't deserve it. I don't want to hear it anymore. They did not deserve it. Maybe they felt like they did because they got put at number 4, then they won the football game they played in after that. That does not mean you deserve it. So the final rankings, Michigan 1, Washington 2, Texas 3, Alabama 4. Then you've got the Capital One Orange Bowl with number 6, Georgia, number 5, Florida State. I don't see a line on that game. I'd be curious to see what it is. See if they got it on the old sportsbook app here. See what they got, because it doesn't show it on ESPN. I'd be curious to see. It may be too early to put that up based on they don't know who's playing in those games. You know, like I said, guys sitting out, whatever. Yeah, so Georgia's favored by 13.5. Yep. Georgia's favored by 13.5. I just continue to shake my head. Florida State, they deserved it. Okay, well, they deserved it. Okay, you know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe you were totally right. Maybe they should have been number 4 because they're one of the top 4 teams in the country. By definition, if you're one of the top best 4 teams in the country, then that means you'd be competitive amongst the other 4 teams, right? Right? Well, according to Las Vegas, the smartest people in the entire world in terms of calculating gambling odds and point spreads and all those things, and the millions of different data points and factors to include into calculating those numbers, they've got them against Georgia in the Orange Bowl, number 5 versus number 6. Georgia's favored by 14. 14. So if Georgia's favored by 14, that means the spread with Alabama would probably be close to the same if you put those two head to head. If you put Florida State in at number 4 against Michigan, the spread might be anywhere from 15 to 20 points. By definition, that doesn't make you a top 4 team in the country. Injuries suck. I understand that. That number is probably different with Jordan Travis, but we live in the real world, not what ifs. And the real world is unfortunate a lot of times. And the injury to Jordan Travis is unfortunate. That's part of winning a championship in any sport. And you can ask anybody that. You got to stay healthy. It's like one of the key factors. It sucks when it doesn't happen, but that's reality. And that's where we are. And reality says Florida State's not a top 4 team. Sorry about it. Sorry about it.